Another election cycle underway. Officials aim to quell fears of voter fraud and rigging. We have watched this, and I'm not letting anybody off the hook. Hillary Clinton is still saying that 2016 was taken from her. She believes Russian collusion on social media changed the results of the election and Russian interference. Now, the Russians have been trying to interfere in our elections for as long as all of us have been alive. It's part of their disinformation campaign. They are disinformation specialists, especially Vladimir Putin. I would tell you, I am pretty confident that we as a nation have done the same thing in other countries with the CIA and others influencing elections. But Hillary Clinton still denies that she lost 2016. She also has said publicly and doubled down on it a number of times that Republicans in the Supreme Court are now colluding to steal the 2024 presidential election. She has said it publicly on a number of occasions. So she is also an election denier. 2020, we saw that in many places, people believed that the election was stolen from Donald Trump. In 2022, Maricopa County stole the election from Kerry Lake and some other Republican candidates. They believe that to be true. I've never subscribed to that. I don't believe any of them, and I don't believe that they've made their case. I will say this, in 2020, if Donald Trump had said in 2020 when he lost that election that had the FBI not lied about the Hunter Biden laptop, had other three-letter agencies not gotten involved with social media and saying that this was Russian disinformation, results may have been different. I think he'd have been onto something. But the actual voter fraud part of this is destroying people's confidence in the elections. That's happening. So ahead of another election cycle, we already see recruiting poll workers, certifying voting machines, hosting lessons on how election systems work in community centers, classrooms, and libraries. They're doing all of these things to try to make sure people believe that our elections are fair. And I think it's something that's necessary. My whole life, my whole voting life, especially in the last 20 years and being engaged with people, you see the same people at the same events all the time. The idea of expanding the electorate, to me, is such a great idea. That if you want to change some of the people that are elected to office, you've got to change the electorate, because it's the same people that vote in every single election that vote for the same people that are running for the same offices in every single election. Until you expand the electorate, until you get those disengaged voters to re-engage or to engage for the first time, the results aren't going to change much. That's just how I feel about it. But listen to this. Taxpayer costs continue to climb nearly 3 years after the audit. It has cost the Arizona taxpayers almost $5.5 million. Now, I will tell you, the money is not the problem. As taxpayers, we spent a lot more than that for 4 years in Washington, D.C., investigating Donald Trump. To absolutely no good results. None. So this happens on both sides of the aisle. Here's where the problem lies. That we still have this issue in Arizona. And I will get a lot of heat for this some will be, some of them will genuinely want to have a conversation with me, and they'll ask me to have a conversation about why I think what I think or why I say what I say. And I welcome those conversations with people on my side of the aisle. I think they are fruitful. But there also will be those that will condemn me quietly and behind the scenes, and I don't care what they think. The fact of the matter is, we have got to renew and restore the people's belief in our election system. The idea that every time you lose, and I'm going to go back to one of my favorite analogies because I watched it my whole life. I have been a sports fan since I was a little kid. I've seen it as a Little League player, Pop Warner player. I've seen it from the perspective of a coach, coaching in what I thought were some of the biggest situations in my life because I love sports so much. And I've watched it as a fan my whole life. There was a terrible call against Arizona State University on Saturday night when they played Washington. Somebody threw a flag for pass interference, and they picked it up and said it was illegal. And you go watch the replay. It's a terrible call. It was pass interference every step of the way, yet they picked up the flag. Did the referees cheat? Were they in on it, or did they just make a mistake? There's a big difference. How many times you've heard the referees don't want us to win. This is rigged and that's rigged. And you shrug your shoulders and say that's just, you can't. If that's how you feel, then why would you watch a sport if it's predetermined? Well, it's a much bigger stakes when it comes to our elections. Have mistakes been made? We all know mistakes have been made. The idea that there are somehow thousands and thousands and thousands of people that are out there to compromise the results of an election, and they're actually doing it. That in 2020, they altered the presidency of the United States. Go back to 2016 with Hillary when she said it. And then in 2022, they altered the statewide election results here in Arizona. And if that's what we're going to tell people, then why would people sign up and show up and vote? It's a mixed message, and I just hope we can get past it.